Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode on all the Mod 6 Skyblock. So, a lot of things have changed between episodes here. I've been working on a lot. So the first thing is I found us a decent food source from Pam's Harvest Crafts called Fruit Punch. And the way that you make it is simple enough. You basically take apple juice and you put it with some berries. I got some sweet berry seeds from sieving something, so that's what we're doing for that. I got these sweet boots from a wandering trader that spawned. They were diamond, and I upgraded them to netherite. I think that's about it for my inventory. So if we come over here, you'll notice that a lot of things have changed over here. So let's go ahead and pick our berries. Basically, we have this now. So I took everything that was over there, that was jammed all over there, and I made a nice system for it. All automated, don't have to touch anything. The only thing you have to, well, I shouldn't say anything. The only thing I have to do is I have to go through and swap the ore pieces here into chunks and then put them in the furnace, and then they automatically get put back into the drawer system here. So I guess I'll walk you guys through it a little bit. So I got our 3 thermal generators. I got our 2 cobble gens that go into a chest, and then we have a row here. So we have our first auto hammer making gravel. That goes into this chest. We have another auto hammer that makes gravel that goes into sand that goes into that chest. And then we have one that goes gravel, sand, dust chest. So then this chest gets filled with dust, gravel, and sand. And then our 3 auto sieves each have a different material in them. And then it gets sieved and put into this drawers. I'm not actually sorting anything here. I just kind of, it worked, so that's how that works. I have another system here for our netherrack and our endstone, just going into auto hammers, and they go into sieves, and then it goes into the system. So we can actually go down. I built a little platform here just to run the wiring, because I can't fly, obviously. And I started making these elevator blocks, so I have an elevator that goes down to our mob farm. I did go ahead and put a... Please don't explode. I'm never going to find that cobble. I did put 10 looting upgrades in our mob masher, so now we're getting tons of mob drops, which is amazing. I don't have them set up to a trash can yet. I made one, but... So today's episode is going to be all about power. While I'm thinking about it, though, anybody that's having issues like I was getting apples, basically you can sift leaves and you get a ton of apples and a ton of saplings. Just as a little side note. I don't think I went over this. This is Cobblestone Generators, Obsidian Generators. So we have our cobblestone going into these crucibles. We have a water block on top of a stone barrel, which is a item pipe under it, which gets thrown into the system. So just to kind of give you some numbers, we have 700 obsidian, a bunch of ender pearls, a bunch of blaze powder. I'll just kind of go over everything, just shifting so you can kind of see. I've been making our netherite in, actually into netherite. So there's that. Kind of give you guys a view of what we have. We have about 300 of every ingot. We have 2 aldemodium ingots, and we have 1 unobtainium ore that I have gotten. That's like a 0.2% chance to get that, so. But this episode, I want to work on power, because as you can see, these guys are struggling for power. So, the easiest way to get into power is to just make a reactor. So this is the bigger reactors mod. If you've never used this, it was big reactors, then it became extreme reactors, and now it's back to being bigger reactors. So whatever. But basically everything in here, is super easy. You just need graphite, iron, and uranium. We're getting uranium from sieving. We have 300 ingots. Graphite is just you smelt coal, and then iron we're getting from sieving as well. So I'm going to make everything that we need here, and then I will show you guys how to put it all together. So, alrighty guys, so I'm back. I have everything crafted. So I laid out a little area here that we're going to build it in. We're going to do a little 5x5 reactor. Mainly because we're poor. So yeah, the easiest way to do this, you're supposed to have coolant in these, but that's only really a recommendation, I feel. Basically, I'm just going to jam this thing full of as many control rods as I can fit, or fuel rods. And I really hope that they haven't changed this to like blow up or anything, because I'm going to be pissed if they do. These reactors used to not explode. But, yeah. So, basically, everything's going to be reactor casings on the outside. You have your fuel rods, which is where your power comes from. You have your control rods, which is what allows you to control how much power you get. You're going to need a power tap. You're going to need 2 access ports, one in, one out. You're going to need a terminal. And then, basically, you just fill the rest of it up with casings, and you can see that it forms the multi-block. So once it forms the multi-block, you can right click, you can see reactor information. If we pillar up here, if you right click a fuel rod, you can change how far down the rods are, and that controls the power. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to throw this away, this up, tuck all this shit in here because we don't need it. And then we're going to get like as much uranium as we have. I'm going to grab 2 chests. Okay, and I'm going to grab some item pipes. We're going to put 1 chest here, 1 chest here. Okay, we're going to have this one is outputting waste. Turn that on. This is our input. So if we dump our fuel in, you can see that our fuel rods are actually getting fuel. You can also manually open... Oh, you can't open that port anymore. You used to be able to open that port and there was a little GUI slot. So we're going to let our fuel get all filled in here. And then we're going to kick this puppy on and see how much RF it makes us. So, let's go ahead and we want waste to be auto-ejected, and let's turn this fucker on. Now, obviously, our casing heat's going to go through the roof because we have no coolant, but we are making 11,000 RF a tick. So, this is going to burn through fuel very, very fast. So if I keep it turned on here, you can see this is your waste, how much you're wasting. So the hotter the reactor is, the more it's going to burn, and the more it's going to waste. So, which is actually true in real life. That's actually how that works in real life. Is the reactors can go, they can actually become too hot, and then they'll just burn on themselves without fuel. That's actually what happened with Chernobyl back in the 90s. Was it actually got too hot, and even though they were pushing water through it, they couldn't cool it down fast enough, and so it just started. It stopped burning fuel, and it started burning the hydrogen inside of the reactor. So, next thing we're gonna do is we are actually going to make a fuel cell. So. At Powa has some really nice energy cells that we can make. So I am going to go ahead and get some iron here, and we're going to make a energy cell. So I'm using Powa mainly because it's the cheapest shit that I can make. Again, kind of very poor. So yeah. Can I make 2 of those? That would be awesome, because then I can make a basic, and then I can go ahead and make, the basic instead of the starters. So, that's actually really nice. So what we're going to do with this is, and I don't have very many energy pipes left. That is my last one. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a little system here. Basically, we're going to come out of the reactor. We're going to go into our energy cell. Okay, that's going to fill up with RF. So if we can go ahead and kick our reactor on, and you can see that that is basically, we're limited by the cabling. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this fill up, and then once this hits 1 million RF, we can basically shut that reactor off. And there's redstone circuitry from bigger reactors, like you can do, where is it? Redstone reactor, redstone port, and you can actually control your reactors through a redstone signal. So, also you'll know that we're getting cyanite. Cyanite is actually, it used to be, yeah, you can actually use it to make cyanite block. Oh, you can't use it to make plutonium anymore? So you used to be able to use cyanite. It was actually a really cool loop that you could make, is you could take the cyanite, convert it into plutonium, and then you could feed your reactor with plutonium. So it actually cut down on your fuel usage by a lot. So now that our energy cell is full, we can go ahead and shut this off. And then we're going to see how much we're using per tick. So we're not actually using that much. And you can see that everything is still actually kind of filling up, which is nice. So we're using about, I would say, 1,000 a tick. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you something really cool with extreme reactors. So notice how we're making, you know, what? When it's fully powered up, we're making, what, 11,000 a tick? We go up here and we click on our control rods, and we want to hold Control, Shift, and we want to insert the rods all the way. So that is using absolutely no fuel. Or sorry, we want to remove the rods, right? Is that not... One way should make it go... I can't remember. One way, if we pull it out, it should start going down, which means we're actually going to start losing the amount of power that we make. Let's see. Is it... it should be up. It should be... You should pull them out to create less power. Maybe they changed it in this mod. Oh, I'm only doing one. Gotcha. So Control, Shift, Alt should pull all of those out. So it's Control, Shift. We want them all the way in. So the rod should be in by 100%. And you can see, even though our reactor is still online, the amount of RF we're producing is dropping. So what we can do, since we're not using very much RF at all, we can actually get this number to a point where we can sustain it. So I think we're going to do... We'll do 50%. So 50% is going to give us 9,000 RF. That's way too much. So we're going to do... We'll do 75%. Now that should only be like 3,000 or 4,000 RF a tick. And as you can see, we're not hardly burning any fuel with that. And everything should be keeping up. So that's what I'm actually going to bring these on down. We're going to go to 95%. So we're only going to produce about... I'd like to have it about 2,000 RF a tick, but I can settle with 5,000. So that is very nice, and as you can see, everybody is filling up with RF, or should be. I don't know, I might have broke that cabling down there. Let's find out here. So that's getting power. Why are you not getting as much RF? It's probably this cabling. There's probably a limit to this cabling, which is fine. So I'm going to go ahead and take a cut here, and then I'm going to basically let these guys work for a little while. and then I will bring you guys back once I figure out why this is bottlenecking so hard. Alright, so I've changed a lot since the last update. Basically, one thing led to another, and yeah. So I figured out this power situation. Basically, it was being bottlenecked by this, because this doesn't transfer very much. I also played with the reactor things, and I've got it at about 1.8 KRF, and everything is staying powered, and we're using like no fuel. I have the fuel rod set at 99%, so the next thing I did, which this actually took me like 45 minutes, I automated all of our ore pieces here getting made into ores. So what I did was I made crafters from RF tools. The crafters, they're really cheap. So basically you make the tier 1, make tier 2, tier 3. And it's the amount of recipes they can hold. So as you can see, this one, iron ore, it takes 4 iron ore, and it knows to make it into a ore chunk. And I have all of the ore chunks in here. It then goes up into this chest, and then gets smelted and put back in. For some reason, there's an Invar ingot in there. So the problem I was having with these pipes, these item pipes from pipes, is you can't filter. Like, you can't set a destination on them. So, like, even though you're filtering copper, it doesn't know that to only put copper in this inventory and not this inventory. So I thought about using logistical transporters for mechanism. Well, that doesn't work either. It's still the same thing. So you can, if you're doing this, you can use item pipes the same way I have here. Just set a whitelist filter for all the different things. And then what you need to do is you need to make filter modules from RF tools. And you notice how how these are staying in here? Now, let me explain this a little better. So what you need to do is every recipe that you have in here, you need to put one of those items in. Don't put it all because it'll craft it. Put like one. And then you take a filter module and you shift right click the block and it saves that inventory. So that it only allows those items in there. So, and you can see sneak right click on the inventory to configure based on contents, or sneak right click to add a block to add the block to the filter. Basically, it says, I only accept these blocks, send everything else somewhere else. And so I have those set up for both. I'm not sure why it's reading that one ore chunk in them, but I rightfully don't care because it works. So that's what you need to do to either use, and you can still use the item pipe from pipes, or you can use logistical transporters and logistical sorters from mechanism. If you are going to use mechanism, you notice that if you go to mechanism and you go to make logistical pipes, you're going to need steel. So it's wanting you to use iron to get steel, but there's actually a cheaty way to do it. So you can actually make steel blend from mechanism. From thermal. So inside of an induction smelter, you can put iron and coal to get steel. And since it's ore dictionaried with the mechanism steel, it works. And to get coal dust, you just make a crusher. So I have a pulverizer, an induction smelter, and then I made a metallurgic infuser so that I can get basic control circuits. I think that's everything I did. Oh, I made upgrades for these, but that's whatever. Next episode, we are going to build a refined storage system. I'm tired of having shit spread out 400 different fucking places, having to run over here to craft, run back over here to craft. I'm done with it. We're going to make a refined storage system, and we're just not going to deal with it. So what we'll do is, if they still have, refined storage still has external storage modules, which they do. So what you can actually do with these is, once we build our refined storage system, we can make an external storage, we can set that bitch to a really high priority and put it on our drawer controller so that anything in this drawer controller we can pull out of it, and when we put stuff into the system, anything that can go in those drawer controllers, or what in that inventory, which is technically the drawers, will go in there rather than filling our system. So we'll be able to pull out, like, you know, anything in these drawers we can pull out of the system, and then it'll automatically put it back in. And I'll show you guys that. It's really cool. I love refined storage for that. Refined storage is probably my favorite digital storage mod. I know a lot of people like applied energistics, but just the simplicity of refined storage is just so much better. Also, our power is keeping up. As you can see, I sped those guys up, so we're great on power. We haven't even probably ate a stack of uranium yet, so we're all good there. We're gaining uranium faster than we're losing it, so I'm gonna get out of here. I will catch you guys in the next episode, and have fun.